Hey everyone, and welcome to Plant-Based Cooking with John, your go-to channel for delicious plant-based recipes that won't break the bank. Whether you're a seasoned cook or just starting out, you'll find easy-to-follow recipes that use simple ingredients and basic kitchen equipment. On today's episode, we're going to be making the sweet treat Chocolate Haystacks. Super easy, kids love it, minimal ingredients, and it's very fast. So let's jump right in. We'll go from this to this. Take a brief moment to look at the ingredients that we're going to be using on the next screen, and then follow along with me and we'll do it together. Alright, now as mentioned in the last episode I recorded, I do not have a double boiler, but this time I really want to make sure that the chocolate chips that I use for this recipe don't burn. So what I've done is I've taken a regular pan and filled it with water, and then placed one of my metal bowls on top of this. Now I would advise to use some kind of metal bowl. Don't use plastic, don't use glass. You have the plastic might heat and create toxins. The glass may crack or shatter. So I just have a metal bowl here. I just turned on the heat to about a medium right now, and I'm going to measure out 1 cup of chocolate chips. This is Ghirardelli brand, just dark chocolate chips. And I'll put that right in here. What I'm doing is just making sure that these chocolate chips melt. And while the chocolate chips are melting, I'm also just going to add 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. That'll give it a little sweetness that we want. Alright, my chocolate has melted in the pan. So now what I'm going to do is add 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. And I'll mix this in as well. I turned down the heat a little bit and my chocolate's getting a little thick, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water. I have a half cup here. And you'll just want to stir this in until it gets nice and creamy. Alright, as I was stirring, I made a complete mess of myself. I would maybe suggest using an apron if you're messy like I am. But I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off because now my chocolate sauce is melted. And now I'm going to use my chow mein noodles. And I'm going to measure out 2.5 cups of the chow mein noodles. And pour them right into the pot. And then stir all this around until everything is coated. Alright, I have my delicious mixture right here. Now, I'm making just chocolate haystacks, but you can add powdered sugar at the end if you want. You can add pretzel sticks instead of the chow mein noodles. You can add sprinkles on the top. But I just like to make them just with the basic ingredients. But kids like sprinkles. If you want to jazz it up a little bit, you can. I have a baking sheet with some parchment paper laid down, and I'm just going to use my hands, and you can wash it, make sure you wash your hands first. And I'm just going to make little balls about like this big, and that will be one of my haystacks. And I'm just going to try to keep it as uniform as I can, just because it's a little better presentation. And I'll try to get as many out of this mixture as I can. As you can see here, I was able to yield about 10 of these with the size that I did. You can make them smaller. You can even have kids do this part. Kids love to get their hands dirty. And hey, anything chocolate, right? They'll love that. So now what I'm going to do is put these in the freezer for 10 minutes. Alright, it's been 10 minutes in the freezer, and now you have your chocolate haystacks. You know, for something with so few ingredients, there is a little bit of sophistication and interest in this dessert. And it's so easy because you don't really have to bake this particular dessert. And you have the peanut butter, the nice sweet chocolate, and then the crunch of the chow mein noodles. Let's give it a try. Mmm, this is great. It's sweet, it's good, it's easy, and then definitely easy to bring to a party. It's delicious, it's crunchy. You should give it a try. For storage of the haystacks, I would say just keep it in the freezer. That way you keep all the chocolate from not melting, especially if you leave it on the counter and you have the sun coming through. It might be a little harder to keep it all intact. Other than that, I would say, I mean, it's sugar and chocolate. It's gonna last for a while. So I guess after a week, you may want to throw them out if you haven't got to them already. All right, that does it for this episode. Thanks everyone for subscribing. Definitely like, subscribe, hit the alert bell so you can see all the new recipes coming up in the future. And until then, we'll see you next time.